Great. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me just recap what we were just talking about for the recording, so that it's in the transcript. So yeah, we were talking about Max was bringing up the fact that I was I was saying the main uh, reader. I had a shower thought in the Discord saying the main reader of the LLM of the spec is actually going to be LLMs. And so the main thing that matters right now is LLM interpretability, or the ability of the LLM to understand the specification. And we should tweak the specification so that an LLM can understand it. And then Max was proposing an approach to discovering whether the LLM can understand it or not. And we were kind of iterating on that approach out loud. So sorry, there's kind of filling in the
Yeah, very
gaps.
good. All right, so let me just summarize again the approach for the
Please.
transcript. So if we write a converter from some format A to OCIF, we can do
Hmm.
the following. First, we search for about 100 real-world files in the format A.
Hmm.
Then let the LLM generate a converter from A to OCIF. Then generate another converter from OCIF to A. And then test in the following way. We take each source file in the format A that we could find, let it transform to OCIF, then from that back to A, then from that back to OCIF, and then compare the first OCIF we got and the last OCIF we got. These OCIFs won't be identical, but they should express the same contents. So then we need also an OCIF normalizer or canonicalizer, which strips out redundant stuff. And now these canonicalized OCIF versions should be the same. Nothing should have been lost by transforming it. Nothing should have been added. And if that works, the converter from A to OCIF and from OCIF to A is fully converting everything. For some formats, that might be a too ambitious goal, but for other formats, this would be the perfect loop to put an LLM in to iterate until the converter really works. Yeah, that's the strategy here. Your audio is missing, Jess. Some make us not active.
How about now?
Yeah, now we're back.
I have to like manually start my microphone setup every time I turn on my computer, and this computer very rarely restarts, but sometimes it does. Um, yes, and then and one thing we were discussing off recording as well is LLMs have gotten good enough at async software engineering that if you can give them a sort of while a condition that they need to satisfy, and then say go, they could potentially write entire libraries and that kind of stuff themselves. And the key is giving them the tools to be able to test their own output of like, and so Max's condition would be, if we can put the LLM in that kind of condition, we should be able to get it to fully generate the library, or mostly generate the library code that we would want for these various conversions, OCIF to Obsidian and back, OCIF to TL draw and back. And then the other thing we mentioned off the recording is that in order to find those real world files, we might try searching GitHub and find places where people have committed their Obsidian Canvas files and or their TL draw files. And that could be a good place to search. Yeah, that seems like a fun thing. In my mind, like next steps for the project looks like getting the next release out, so that we're in kind of like a stable place of like,
Yeah.
the current release is this, and we're not iterating on the edge of the spec at the same time as having the LLM try to write something. It's like, let's get one stable version out at 0.51,
Yeah.
whatever it is, and then let's focus time on setting up that test harness. And yeah, the really interesting thing is like once we had that test harness up, we could actually try this with several models simultaneously. So I would be interested in Sonnet 4.5, Codex 5 High, and then Gemini 3 should be releasing any day now, which like the behind the scenes comments on that are that it's quite good, and might, when it releases, will likely be the state of the art model on coding. So it'd be nice to be able to have 3 different versions of the library that are written by those 3 models, and then be able to do some comparison across those. So yeah.
Yeah. So I asked Gemini to review our spec and tell me what's difficult about it. We found some typos. We found some complexities, which are just there. But the one thing we definitely have to fix is the URI structure. So we have some section that reads a proposed URI structure or proposed URL structure,
Right.
and it's not implemented as proposed there. We just need to settle on one version. I mean, what we
Okay.
need is a URI for JSON schemas
Mhm.
that we just agree on, which works. And right now we are using redirects to GitHub, but then GitHub is a notoriously bad hoster. So you have this frame around the stuff, and you have a little bit of the JSON schema in the middle, which is nice for us to see, but it's not great for tools from the outside to download the spec file.
Okay. So we just need a hosting service that hosts the spec directly, like the markdown version of the spec. Is that what you're saying?
For human, yeah, this would be nice for humans. That would be just a quality of life thing. But for tools, we need something like, some URI like spec canvas protocol / I mean,
Oh,
as it is proposed here, where you just
yeah.
then get the JSON file actually, so that schema validation works.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not, we don't
Complete.
have to stick this, but we need something like this working, where the specs, the JSON files of the specs are really downloadable by URI.
Great. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
This seems like a great task for a coding agent to do, and because it's fairly well specified. It may not be fully specified, but we can get it to the point where it is. I don't see what's missing though. SpecMD. Yeah, redirect to the latest version. Yeah, and the good news is we already have I think I have it on my sidebar over here. Repos. Maybe not actually. Where do our redirects live? Do you remember?
No.
Yes, they live here. Canvasprotocol.org. No, they don't. Where are they? That's interesting. Maybe they're in the spec directory.
I'll be back in a second, just opening the door.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, no problem. Where did I put those things? So there's canvasprotocol.org. There is uh, that's actually surprising. I would have expected it to be here. Is it still working? Spec canvasprotocol.org. Yes, it is. It's got to be under spec. It's got to be under the spec repo, and I just missed it. Public? Yes, that's where it is.
Spec public redirects. Okay.
So yeah, we are actually deploying the spec repo, which I think is the right thing to do. I think we want to continue because the spec repo contains all of those markdown files that we need, as well as examples and stuff like that. So it's basically extending this public directory to be able to support those various things. And it is deployed right now under my personal Cloudflare pages is where we have it deployed. Here it is. Which is currently free. Like we're on the free plan because we are well under their bandwidth limits. I do know some folks at Cloudflare too. If like we get to the point where we need an increase in plan, we could talk to their open source team and maybe get a paid plan that they're
and why don't we use GitHub pages? GitHub pages doesn't support this redirect stuff, or
I believe it was the redirects piece. So that redirects file is actually a format that was introduced, I think, by Netlify and Cloudflare pages picked it up as well. And yeah, I'd have to go back and look if GitHub Pages supports it or not.
Yeah, I
I
have
don't
similar
remember
use
exactly
cases,
why.
and I have similar issues to how somehow publish a cheap website. Maybe Cloudflare Pages is the way to go.
Cloudflare Pages has a very generous free plan, and they've been they're very friendly to the free internet and to open source. And so much like GitHub, I haven't seen them make extractive moves. That's not to say that they won't start.
Yeah. But you
Same
can
goes for
always,
GitHub. I mean, they're owned by Microsoft, right? So at any
yeah.
time it might the hammer might drop. But right now, they've been great. And I think I have more than one thing up on more than one of our assets are under Cloudflare. Let's see. Yeah, I moved so the website itself, canvasprotocol.org, is hosted there. The redirects are hosted there. And I think that's it. I have a ticket to like move the other like the validator website over
Mhm.
and like the things that Michael had worked on, because those are currently under either like Vercel or Netlify, and those are not generous free plans.
Yeah, I'm on Netlify, but it's too expensive.
It's too expensive. Yeah. And you can get almost all of that for free at Cloudflare. And the Cloudflare infra is actually really, really good. I've been using it for my my personal project Work Squared. And it's quite good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we fixed the
Yeah.
URI structure,
Uh-huh.
make these URIs work, and then I would aim for a 0.6 release from the current
Right. All
branch.
right. Update the org. Yeah. Okay. That's what about AGB as the schema parser for a different library. I don't even remember this. Oh, this is OCWG. Okay, cool. Let me add a ticket here. You already have a pull request for this.
I don't remember, but
I think
hopefully.
so. For 051, I think there's a pull request out there for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 051 draft. Okay, so that's getting that out is one thing. And then let's see if I have anything here so I'm not duplicating the. Yeah. Okay, cool. It's interesting to think like, should there be an LLMs.txt or should it literally just be the spec file? Like, shouldn't the spec file be the LLMs.txt-ish? Right? And like, if we need an LLMs.txt for the spec file, haven't we failed?
I'm undecided on that.
I am too. That's why I'm asking. It's questionable. Yeah, I
It
think
would be
that might be
ideal
one of
to
the things.
not need it.
I think that might be one of the things we learn from this process is like, see if we can get like what needs to change about the spec for the LLM to be able to effectively implement it. And is that change something that renders it unusable for a human such that we need two different versions of the same file?
Most likely an LLM would need less examples, less motivations, less blah, blah, just
Token
straight
efficiency.
facts.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the spec itself is pretty dry at this respect already.
Especially in terms of examples. We haven't been really great about that yet. Okay, let's see. So in the spec repo, let's see. Oh goodness, silly Zoom thing in my way. I really hate Zoom screen sharing. Okay, add item from repository. Actually, I can just create the whole thing. So this is going to be move the spec and examples hosting from the GitHub, or I should say host spec and examples on Cloudflare rather than redirecting to GitHub repo. Now create issue.
And then we should probably add links from the spec to their corresponding GitHub entities.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we need to do anything to that section of the spec? Do you remember if it's thinking that it was incomplete, or is this it?
This is okay. I mean,
I think it's good. I have no problem with this. Yeah. All right. So then back to where was I? Boy, was I here? No. Oh, I was in work in progress. That's right. You're supposed to give me a link. Oops. Yeah. Why did it not copy? Strange. Yeah. Something I've been using this last week and has been really fun is using Claude Code as a project manager, using the GH like CLI command to create all the issues and move them around and put them in the right place in projects and that kind of stuff. It writes far more complete GitHub issues than I would write. Like the version that I wrote just now is, it's mostly there, but like giving it like the basics, it will go and like search for out the repo and say like, oh, you need to move this there, and then that card is so much more ready to hand off to a coding agent if I have like Claude actually write the card for me. But anyway, it's been a joy having it plan. I'll even like work with it on sprint planning, and it'll like move everything around into the right lanes in the project. And like, man, this is so much better than me doing it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'm starting to become convinced that like Claude Code plus CLI tools is actually better than MCP. Like CLI tools are just like a layer down in terms of low level, and like the agent really has a ton of examples about like how to use a CLI tool well. And MCP servers can be all over the place in terms of quality and what they expose and don't expose and all that kind of stuff. Anyway.
Well, there remains the issue of sandboxing. CLI sandboxing is very hard. Oh, we lost the audio. Something broke in the audio stream.
All right. How are you doing now?
Yeah.
Great.
Fixed.
Yep.
Nothing what a good reboot cannot fix.
Exactly. Unfortunately, I actually only have to, what is it? Not log out, whatever the macOS thing is for like bring up your lock screen.
Ah.
I just have to bring up the lock screen and re-sign in, and it fixes it. There's something's going on with my USB setup, which great. All right. Let's see. So we were just having a conversation about 051. Perhaps the next thing to do is actually look at the changes you made, the commits to 051, and see if there's
Yeah.
is there any feedback I can offer or help there to help get 051 over the line?
So I did this mini review with Gemini today,
Mhm.
and I think we can now endlessly review and refine it. And yeah, it can get better and better, but we only need to fix real errors. And I'm not aware of any real errors right now.
Great.
So yeah, somebody's going to read all this stuff with the help
Yep.
of LLMs, maybe, but
Say mostly LLMs will be reading all of this stuff. I'm becoming much more confident in like making delegating large changes like these to LLMs, and um, yeah, and being confident that when it says that things are done, that they actually are done. So let's see. So do you know of, you said you don't know of any errors. We only need to fix errors. There were things in the review that were exposed, but they don't necessarily need to be part of 051. What are the next steps for shipping 051?
Zero, I would ship 0.6. So it accumulated so many changes and reorgs that this is not a .1 release anymore. At least not at 0.01.
Mhm.
So we are aiming to 0.6, I would say.
Okay.
And basically we need to say, okay, let's go for it. I mean,
Yeah.
Today I found out that the viewport canvas schema for the viewport canvas extension was actually not containing a viewport canvas schema, but just a copy of the node rect schema. So I fixed that. No LLM complained about this fact. So some human oversight might help to find some weird bugs like this.
Yeah, a human reader would probably be helpful. Again, like I think what will also be helpful is like having an LLM try to implement the spec
Yeah,
could
yeah,
expose things like that.
that's still probably the best test.
Yeah, because like you mentioned, it's at that point it actually really does need to understand it because it's trying to make code that conforms to it, and we're more likely to catch things that way. Put the spec here. All right. Edit. Organizing my pens, very important stuff. All right. Okay, well, pull request. Let's look at 051. Do we have an up-to-date changes section? I guess that would be one thing to ask. I believe there's a change log.
I would expect it to be incomplete.
Yeah, I think so that might be a quick LLM task, is like update the change log with all the changes from this PR. Yeah, here we go, from 0.5. And we need to rename everything to 0.6. Do you want to, you already have an in context like chat with a Gemini. Do you want to ask it to do that work and then make that commit? Like
I'm always
0.6?
throwing away the context after every change, so I'm not
Poisoning it with
keeping.
a,
No.
yeah. Yeah.
But we designed it so that we can use search and replace for the renames.
Yeah.
So maybe I can just do it right away and do the rename and commit it.
Yeah, I'm pulling up a similar thing, but I'll let you do that so that we're not stepping on each other. I'm going to go ahead and rename this though to 0.6. Also gonna pull up Discord and put a couple notes in Discord that we're about to release 06, just in case anybody's messing with it and has something to say. I very much doubt that, but a good thing to do to let people know. Enough changes that we should bump to 0.6. I was doing a rename from 0.51 to 0.6. We'll ask an LLM to update the change log on the spec file. Our plan is to release more or less today. Today.
Yeah, you still have a lot of day left.
I do. Your day is towards the end. The funny thing is, like, I have another release today that I've been working on for several months for another project,
Wow.
so it's going to be a busy day. But it feels good to get this stuff out, more or less today.
All right. So only the branch is, of course, still called with the old name.
That's fine. Yeah, no problem.
And if I would rename it, I would probably break the PR. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't rename the branch. It's not worth it. Eventually, we'll get in the habit of probably doing like a next branch instead of a particular version name, and that way we can move it to be whatever version.
I made another mistake. The directory needs to be called without draft, of course.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so push again. Yeah, that looks better.
I'm gonna hit ready for review here. Wonder if I can get Codex to do a review for us real quick. I think I'll need to enable Codex. Okay. I'm gonna enable code review from Codex on this.
There's also this GitHub Copilot review.
I'm fine with
You can
getting
get.
multiples. Right now, I'm using both cursors, Bugbot and Codex, to get like 2 reviews on every PR. And
Okay.
often the reviews are disjoint, of like they see different things.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm like, hey, the more automated PR review tools, the better. Because the cool thing is in like Claude Code, you can just type /PR-comments. It'll fetch all of the comments from the PR across all the reviews, and then it will collate them for you. And then you can say, please fix, or fix 1, 2, and 4, but don't worry about number 3. Okay. So that gives us codex review. And I guess the other thing I could do is I could actually have, I'm not as confident in BugBot reviewing this kind of work. I think this is like more codex. There we go. Yay! Get your review on Codex. What do you think? I'm very curious what it'll what it'll make of this. Sticky note.
Yeah, these are Gemini generated examples.
Nice. Yeah. Are these embedded anywhere, or are they just literally JSON?
These are just
Like
JSON schemas.
Yeah, they're just the JSON schemas. They're not embedded in them. We don't, do we refer to them from the markdown, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. Those refer to different parts of the spec. Oh, that's interesting. There is the example, and then there's a separate JSON file for it.
Yeah.
So it's in both embed. It's duplicated, is my point.
This one, yes.
Yeah,
Understood
though.
Is there an
I don't know of a
include
good way to
directive
solve
for
that problem.
Markdown?
What's that?
Can Markdown include files and render them inline? Because
Not
ASCII
native.
can.
Yeah, I know you mentioned this before. I knew this would come up. LLMs read that. That's what really matters, right? We've decided.
So they can deal with the duplication.
Yeah. All right. Did you ask it to update the changelog?
No, I can.
Okay, thanks. Let's see. Where to do this is the question. Probably personal codex, environments, OCWG. There we go. All right. Edge extension schema defines properties for start and directed rel node, but never requires the identifying state field.
Yeah, that's a mistake we have in almost all JSON schemas.
Yeah. So
But in some we don't have it, so we I think we can
become consistent or like act on
yeah
it.
look at
Mhm. Oh, doubled the review because I asked twice. My bad. Sorry. The representation schema declares in prose that either content or location must be present. The JSON schema omits any one of or any of or required constraints. Oh, I didn't even know those existed. So we could tighten the schema for location to say one of or any of. Hmm.
oof, yeah, maybe. I will have to
Maybe. I
reread
know,
that
yeah,
piece of this
I don't know
spec
the
to
answer there.
understand it.
And let me make sure these are the same. Sometimes you get different responses across multiple reviews. Nope, they look exactly the same. I bet they were caching those responses.
It's good. It's working a lot on this on the JSON schemas. Gemini wasn't. It was I was just asking Gemini for the spec MD. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is good. Should I ask it to fix all three of these things? Because I could do that real quick in the command at the command line.
Yeah, it's just not entirely clear to me whether that actually is consistent with the spec text. That takes longer for me to process. But there's one thing about the JSON schemas which I just don't understand. If I open, for example, the file anchor the first schema anchored node JSON. If I open it in my IDE, in IntelliJ, it complains especially about this first type property. I say type is type string and it's a constant OCIF node anchored, and I get a warning that which doesn't make sense. But maybe there's something that I haven't understood about constants in JSON schemas. Do you have some kind of preferred IDE for JSON schemas?
Nope, none.
So
Really haven't worked with them that much in the IDE context, so it would be. But it
VS
seems like a
Code.
reasonable thing to take the feedback from the IDE as not canonical, but like certainly important. We want it to when people use whatever the most common. My approach would probably be like go to VS Code, find the most downloaded JSON schema viewer or whatever, and then see if our schemas validate in that IDE or if it in that extension or if it throws errors.
Well, I did paste it then to a JSON schema validator, which
Uh-huh.
then asks for a JSON schema using for validation. So you give that the meta schema, and then it said, yeah, that's actually very valid and fine. But my IDE still has these
Warnings.
not errors but warnings,
Mm-hmm.
and I just don't understand that. Yeah, I'm not a JSON schema guy either, so this is a bit tricky to to get perfectly right. Mm. Yeah, maybe we should just let Codex apply the fixes and then we can review it again. And if it seems to be more consistent and better after the change, then that was a good change.
Yep, I am. Let me share my whole screen. Yeah, I'm doing that right now. I just started the Codex CLI and actually having it do its own review locally, and then I'll have it pull in the PR comments and then kind of bring those two things together, see what changes it recommends. I don't know if you've used it at the command level or the CLI level, but it's pretty good. Okay, goal is to get this out.
Such nice terminal animations.
Oh, it's really nice. Yeah. Have you used Cloud Code at the
Mm,
terminal?
no, no.
It like in my opinion, Cloud Code's a little bit nicer, but they're both good. Both good. Okay, so get 06 out, get the URL up and running. On Cloudflare pages is the other one. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to do is start a work stream there. Oh, but I want to wait until 051 merges. Yes. Okay, great. I'll once 051 merges, I'll assign this ticket to a Codex instance and see what comes back here. I could go ahead and do the planning though. All right, so full review.
So there are not really missing things in the changelog. I added 2 minor items and we'll push them now, but
Great.
Gemini wasn't finding anything more. But it looked only at, I mean, I gave it the 2 directories and told it to look what changed between the V05 directory to the V06.
Mm-hmm. That's a great, yeah, that's a good way to say it. Shipping the document with the core URI means readers will hit a 404 when they follow the normative link to fetch the schema. Oh, interesting. There's not a core. Oh, we didn't update the URI structure when we updated the file locations because we moved one of the big changes is getting rid of the concept of core.
Now everything is extensions.
Exactly.
But where is it complaining?
In spec.md line 595. Five, 9, 5 there. Good catch.
Instances. Yeah, correct. Okay, I'll look for similar patterns.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Some of them are fixed.
10, yeah.
But some of them are not.
Okay, I can fix them.
Great. And then there's remove non-existent relative schema entry. 1764. Let's see. Oh. Remind me what change we made with relative nodes?
Relative positioning. That
We now use parent-child for this, right?
no. Parent-child we have, but relative.
It's pointing out that on 1760.
No transforms maybe for relative positioning. Yeah.
Basically
I think it's
saying
no
there's not
transforms.
Yeah. Is it? Okay. Oh,
So
transforms dash node, transforms dash
yeah.
node, right?
Yeah,
Got it.
that should be the one.
Got it.
Do we
So that's
still
line
mention the
7.
relative nodes
Oh,
thing?
we don't have it in the, there's not an example in the extensions directory.
Yeah,
Not one that's added.
it's just listed in the extension URIs, but in effect it's gone. Yeah,
Okay.
because it's now part of the thing of the node transforms. Okay, I just remove it from this
Great.
schema entry list. Done.
Good catch, Codex. Way to go.
Yep.
All right, great. And then PR comments. Check the comments on the PR using DH and resolve. And you're not resolving the comments, right? So I can have Codex do that.
I tried to do it from the IDE. There's a resolve button, but it didn't work. So
Okay, cool. No worries. One.
all right, so more fixes incoming.
Mhm. You need to put this thing in YOLO mode. I have a wrapper for Claude, so I can just say Claude YOLO, and then it does Claude dangerously skip permissions. I need whatever the equivalent is in Codex. I don't use Codex that often. I mostly use Claude. Ah, this is so annoying.
But do you have it running in some kind of sandbox?
Nope. Nope. Dangerously. That's why it's called YOLO. No, that's for some of my projects I have done a little bit more work on sandboxing. But for a lot of things I don't even bother at this point. So why does it keep asking? So weird. One thing I've definitely found though is that Codex is much slower than Claude Code. Seems like it's more optimized for background work. Like go do this thing in the background, I don't care how long it takes. Whereas Claude Code is much more interactive feeling, like it gets you the response much quicker.
Where have you found out about the Gemini 3.0 release?
It's not out yet.
I-
I'm just waiting on it. Yeah.
yeah, but where are the rumors about it? I haven't read anything about that on Hacker News.
Yeah, the rumors are that it will be the state-of-the-art coding agent. So it's going to be like, top of the benchmarks for that. And then the other big
Yeah,
rumors.
but where could you find these rumors? On Twitter,
Yeah,
on Hacker
mostly
News?
I hang out in an LLM focused Discord group
Okay.
called Latent Space. I don't know if you've seen the podcast Latent Space. It's really, really good. This is where I get like almost all of my news.
Uh-huh.
It's laser based. And there's a bunch of folks in that Discord that are yeah, always up on the new releases. Here's the new thing that dropped this day. And they're all trying out the new tools. So you get a lot of experience reports of people actually using Jules or, Devin or Klein or whatever the coolest tool is of the day. And so that's
Nice.
been helpful. And then yeah, I do find these particular episodes, conversations with people who are building the frontier tools are really great, really deep, like yeah, lots of good feedback there. So I'm waiting for 3.0 to drop so that I can start using Jules with it.
Yeah, that's supposed to be fun then.
Yeah.
It was buggy in the beginning. I was Jules alpha or beta user. For some reason I was early, but it was not good in the beginning. But
Yeah.
they improved quickly.
All these tools are improving so quickly because they're using these tools to build these tools, which
Maybe that's
that
also why they
bootstrapping
are so buggy.
that is why they're so buggy for sure. But like it's this interesting trade-off. It's like if you build your repository from the beginning with async software engineering agents, there are more bugs up front, but you build it in such a way that you can improve it so rapidly that faster than human engineers could. I mean, I've heard people say that on the Claude Code and the Codex team that 80 to 90% of the code in there is async software engineering, generated code. So those are, yeah, you can just move a lot faster that way. So. All right, we're coming up on time. I will babysit Codex until it fixes its changes on the PR. And I think once those are in and you're, I'll hit you up in Discord and say, I think we're ready to request or to review or to release, sorry. The release process, I'm happy to like babysit the release process of like change over the markdown file, change over the version on the website and all that kind of stuff.
Excellent.
I/an agent will do it for us. and we'll get 06 out there sometime today or tomorrow. If it happens tomorrow, it's not a big deal. Like if I get back to you too late and you're done for the day and you don't have a chance to look until tomorrow, no big deal.
But there's nothing really that I need to review anymore, right? So you can just go ahead and release it, and
I think that's
then
right.
probably we'll have a 0.61 afterwards at some point, but that's fine. That's better than waiting anymore.
Yeah, agreed. And then I'll probably also like have it write a newsletter post and a social post that's like, here's 06, here's the changes, that kind of stuff. Feel free to go play around with it. We're gonna shift our focus to start working on libraries. And here's the plan. So
yeah, excellent. So have a great, still long day.
Indeed. Yep. I've got other stuff to release today too. So
good luck with that.
Thanks, Max. It's been great working with you on this. I'm excited to move to this next phase.
All right. Over and out.